Hey selfies, and welcome back to a Selfish Mother Talks, a space where we protect our peace, choose ourselves first, grow through real life, but not perfection, okay? I'm your host, Kai M, and today on The Persona, we're talking about you. Like you thought we wasn't going to talk about you, sis? Okay, and I'm not talking about like who you are, like your title per se. I'm talking about you. Who are you? So, come on, grab your drink, get your blanket, get comfy, and let's talk, sis. Come on. So, last week we talked about ghosting, right? And we learned that how to move forward without even getting the closure that we wanted. Because, the closure isn't for them, it's for us. And regardless if that person gives it to us, we have to find closure within ourselves, right? But while I was reflecting on that conversation, I realized something. Sometimes we lose people, we lose opportunities, but somewhere along the way, we lose ourselves, which made me ask myself, who am I? Right? And it's like, I know I'm a girl, I'm a mom, I'm a grad student, I'm a business owner, I'm a serial entrepreneur, like I'm a friend, I'm an auntie, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have all of those things. I'm a sister, I'm a soror, I'm a whole lot of other things, right, to a lot of people. But outside of that, who am I? Who are you? So, we typically introduce ourselves by what we do, right? When people say, hey, I'm such and such, nice to meet you, I'll be like, oh, hey, I'm Kai. And like, depending on the situation, I'll be like, oh, hey, I'm Sora this, or hey, I'm Kai, I own Selfish Mother, I do this, this, and this. Or I'll be like, oh, hey, I'm a communications grad student, like, oh, hey, I'm such and such daughter, you know. But like, if we took away literally every single title that we have been given or gave ourselves, who would still be standing there? And I had went to this networking event over this summer, and that was one of the panelists' topics. She said, when I walk in a room, I don't care what your title is, because at the end of the day, we're still a person, right? We're still somebody. And if you can only go by what your title is, that means you have allowed that title to become you, and you haven't put your focus on you. You know what I'm saying? Because like, I'm going to become a PhD candidate, right? I'm going to have my PhD. I'm going to be part of the whatever percentage of black women with a PhD, okay? I'm going to be one of those very soon. And then when I get my PhD, I am not just going to be Dr. Kai, right? That's just not a part of me, of who I am. It's going to, add letters to my name, but outside of that, that's not, it's not me. Like, my whole persona will not just be, oh, I'm a doctor, you can't talk to me like that. Like, no, that's far beyond that, because it goes bigger than that. Like, okay, I just got another degree. That's all that says. I got a piece of paper. I know how to read and write. Next. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty much all it says. Because if somebody says, well, who are you? And you can't tell them who you are outside of, well, I'm a PhD. I hold a bachelor's in this. I have this. I mean, I run this business. I work at this job. If you can't tell them what you do outside of that, baby, we have lost. We have lost. When I think about my own life, and there have been seasons where I've introduced myself as everything that I was doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in grad school. Yeah, I'm building the Selfish Mother persona. I have a podcast. I create content. I'm a mom. I just try to be everything for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And then one day I realized, girl, who is Kai? What do you do? And I typically ask myself this question every like around my birthday all the time, because you always change. And if you don't change and you stay stagnant, that's a problem. And you always want to be better than the person that you was the day before, right? So I always want to figure out, who am I? What can I do to prove to myself, not as what is going on today, boy? Oh my God. I always want to prove to myself who I am, because I want to be better than the person I was the day before. And I didn't know how to answer that question back then without listing my responsibilities that I hold, right? Because yeah, it's cool or whatever that we have, that I'm a mom, or I run a business, or I create content, like there are questions that come with it, right? Because it's always going to intrigue somebody, because not everybody knows you. But at the end of the day, girl, I am a tomboy, right? I love sports. I love to eat. My hobbies are literally writing, and like, I would say go outside with nature, but I can't stand bugs. But I do love the outdoors. And it's like, I love being able to teach people and things like that. And like who I am as a person, that is me. Like everything else that I do is always comes back to, this started because of who I am as a person, And it doesn't matter that I am just, doing, it doesn't matter that I'm just going through the motions per se. It matters because I stay true to myself, and that is my authentic self to me. Like when people see me, yeah, they be like, oh, she's a B, like, oh, she don't talk to nobody, like she always got a stank face and da da da. To be honest, yeah, I have social anxiety real bad. But like once I feel the crowd and I see the energy, I start to loosen up, especially if I'm with people and I understand, like, it's cool. They cool. Ain't nothing gonna happen. Then I let loose, and then I'm the life of the party. But at the same time, it's like it takes me a while to get there, because I am shy. Like I am introverted. I am very apprehensive, like when it comes to certain things. But like if I know one person, I know that one person gonna turn up, then I'm turned up with them. But I do have a shell, and I know it's hard to believe, but yeah. And like that's how I figure out who I am. Like people ask me, you gonna see me? I'll be like, girl, who? Right? I'm the funny one. I don't know how to say it, but yeah. But it's always about when to figure out who you are. It's always how women perform per se, because a man could tell you who they are, and it's always the women who get stuck, because we have been put so many titles upon ourselves and that others have given us, that we don't even know who we are, and like women have to be everything, this and that. Like even if they're not a mom, they're already pictured as a mom, you know what I'm saying? And that's tough, because now we have these expectations to be the nurturer, the caring one. Like, oh, well, you're going to be more soft because you're a woman, and da 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 da. And honestly and truly, I am not soft whatsoever. I was just talking to one of my friends, and I was listening to him parent his son, and then I went back and reflected how I parent my son, and I said, oh yeah, nah. I said, I'm rough around the edges. I said, ooh, yeah, no, I said, maybe I should be a little bit more gentle with my kid. Jesus. I said, because that was soft. That was, ooh. And mine look at me. I'd be like, hey, get it together. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, whew, yeah, it's just, ooh. Yeah. But it's always a thing, right? So it could be performative or it could be a purpose, right? So let's talk about how performative versus purpose. Like being a strong friend, being dependable, always helping, always producing, always giving, right? But what was the last time that you did something that just made, because it made you happy, right? When was that? Not because it made money, not because it was reproductive, not because someone expected it. Just because it genuinely made you happy. And I ain't gonna hold you. It's been a while since I've done something like that for me. And by a while, I mean like a couple of months, but same difference. But it's because we always have to be, at least in my case, I feel like I always have to be there for at least somebody, because I know I am that strong friend for my friends, my family. Like when they have a problem, even if they want to vent, they just come to me. And like recently I realized that like I don't have that outlet because I don't have a counselor at the time being. I don't have that relationship that I have. Like I could go to my friends and tell them, but I always feel like I'm a burden when I go to them with my issues. You know what I'm saying? Because life happens to everybody. Everybody always has an issue. Everything is always something, right? But I feel like my life is always on go, and it's always something happening to where that I should be able to handle it without having to reach out to somebody. And give and take, that's not how that should be, but that's how it is. And I know that I'm not quote unquote happy or doing things for me that makes me happy right now simply because I don't have the time. I don't have time. Like I don't have help with my kid as much as I would like. I don't have anything, and I get open-ended promises. Is that the word that I'm looking for? I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but I get backhanded promises or whatever. Like people will tell me like, "Oh yeah, I'll do XYZ," and then it never happens. And I realized that like that was starting to affect me, and I feel like that's what's making me like irritable more so when it comes to like figuring out who I am, because I can't become who I want to become because I don't get the help that I need. And it just bothers me. So I'm learning how to do it while still doing everything else. Okay? Okay, my selfies. So now you know what time it is, right? The time now, it's time to fill that cup. Do you know what that means? Are you ready to fill that cup? Yeah, it's time to pour those decisions, baby. So come on. Let's go. Okay, my selfies. So today we are starting off with our glass first, okay? We are going to do a little peach ginger beer. I'm gonna pour that on up in there. Okay. A little guava puree. And then a sweet and sour. Okay. Nothing too major this week. Nothing too major. That might have been a little too much sweet and sour though. You might gonna have to offset it somehow. Okay. Give it a little mixy mix. The Rediscovered. Today's drink is called Rediscover because I think many of us try to spend years and years trying to become someone when in actuality we're just trying to find ourselves again. So cheers to finding ourselves one day at a time. Now let's get back to the episode. We have to give ourselves time and permission to evolve, right? We change, our body changes every 7 years. We change our mindset probably every 3 to 6 months, depending on like what you're trying to outgrow and what you're trying to rediscover and what you're trying to actually learn and become, right? So we have to understand that everything that we do isn't going to happen when we want it to happen, right? We have to accept the change, evolve around that change, and then become the change. And we always are so used to always wanting it to happen right then and there. With the snap of our finger, we want it to be done. I could be like, I want $1 million in. I'm supposed to have $1 million because I snapped my finger. It don't work like that. You have to understand that the reason that everything that you keep praying for isn't happening is because you aren't changing to what needs to change. You are not trying to outgrow what you have been doing. And it doesn't work until God knows that you can do it. You can handle everything that I have put on you to make sure that when I give you what you've been praying for, you'll be ready for it. You know, like you have to understand that this here isn't just something that's gonna happen one day and then you're gonna forget about it in 3 days. No, it's something that's going to be with you, become who you are, and you still can be that. Okay, like when people ask you, who are you? This is the version that you are trying to tell people that you are without those titles. This is what it's going to be. And you aren't ready to get there because you still want to be in that same space that you don't need to be in. And like, take it for example. Take this for example. You don't owe anyone the same version of yourself forever. Right? You don't owe anyone the same version of yourself forever. You can try new things. You could change careers. You could change friendships. You can change your mind. Because you don't owe that same version of yourself that they met forever. Like, let's see. What's the story I can do? I have 2 stories. When I first moved, like out my mama house or whatever, like after college and everything, the first go around, when I first moved out, I didn't know who I was, right? This was my first time being on my own, like with my own bills and everything. Like everything was on me. I didn't have nobody like to help me out. I didn't have a roommate, none of that, right? And so doing that, it shaped me to the person who I am because no, my bill's not gonna be late. No, I'm not doing that. No, I can't do that. I ain't got the money for that, right? And it helped me understand. But that was almost 7 years ago now? And 7 years later, I can be like, oh yeah, girl, we could do it because I know how to money manage. I know how to make sure that if I know that we have an event coming up, I know how to save to go to said event, you know? And then the second story that I have is, with this brand right here, with the Selfish Mother persona, right? This brand right here wasn't supposed to be what it is today. Not gonna lie. I started this back in 2024 and it's 2026. And I could honestly say I did not see this happening for this. I used to pray and ask God. I said, I want my business to take off. I want to be fruitful in you and in my business, but I want to make sure I run my business the way that you want me to run my business, Lord. Like, I want to be so well in your word that you are nourishing me and funding everything that I do for this business. And honestly, that wasn't the business that I thought I was going to do. I didn't think in 2024 I was gonna get another LLC. I wasn't gonna hold you. I thought I was just, Thought I was just doing stuff. Okay. I thought I was going to be like one of the other LLCs that I have, I thought it was going to be for one of them. But this one came about. And although the actual reasoning why this one came about is quite comical, needless to say, I didn't expect it to actually be helping others. I didn't expect it to be this beautiful thing that it is. Like, it blossomed into a butterfly. Because if you don't know, my logo is a butterfly. And I could say that, like, I wanted it to be an outlet just for me, just to get everything out, just so I can be like, listen, on today's episode of how these people got me messed up, like, that's what it was going to be, because I was going to be that selfish mother for myself. Like, it was just me. It was me centered. It wasn't centered on nobody else but me and my emotions. But then as I've grown, the brand has grown, right? Because I realized, yeah, I may be upset this day, but I'm not going to be upset forever. And I don't want no business that's always about, like, hatred and stuff like that. So let's not do that, right? And it just made me realize that this is who I'm becoming. Like, my friends can attest for this. I have calmed down a lot, and it's not because I had a baby. It's not because I was pregnant. It's not because of none of that. It's truly because I have grown and I understood that I don't have to be that person that I was growing up to get the same respect that I deserve. If you don't respect me, that's cool. I move along. But you're not going to treat me any differently just because you don't like me. Okay? And so that's why. That's yeah. Yeah. I kind of went on a tangent, but yeah. Okay, so ask yourself, who am I without the titles, right? And when I think about it, I think that I am just Kai. Like, I am everything that you see and more, because it goes deeper than what you get on the surface. Like, to truly understand who I am is complex. I am complex. I am a person that doesn't take no as a straight answer when I know there's a reasoning behind the no. Give me the reason as to why you say no, and I'ma still accept it. I just want to know why. You know, like I'm creative, right? I love meaningful conversations. I love to be stimulated intellectually, because if you can stimulate my mind and get me thinking about other things than just surface ground level stuff, we can really become good friends, because we could talk about different things. I love to laugh. Like, I love to laugh. Like, I laugh at any and everything. I don't care. I am laughing. Okay, I love creating experiences that is enjoyable. Experiences that just can be in the moment with and understand, like, oh wow, this is beautiful. You know? Like, and I'm still becoming, like, I'm still evolving. I am still becoming the person, the woman, the mom, the entrepreneur, all of that I want to be. But outside of that, I am just me. I am just a girl. I am just here just to understand that there's nothing that I can and cannot do, like, there's nothing that I can and cannot do that you cannot tell me that I won't do. Because I'm going to do it. So ask yourself, who are you? Who are you? Who are you outside of your title? Who are you outside of being a mom, a coworker, a business owner, a student? a life coach, a teacher, whatever the case may be. Who are you? Your identity should be rooted in who you are and not just what you accomplish. So who are you? So Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, right? God knew you before whatever you put your mind to, right? He knew me before I said I wanted to become a doctor at the age of 5. He knew me when I didn't even know myself. He knew me before the business, before the degree, before motherhood, before the followers, before the career, before the friendships, before everything, right? And he knows the same for you too. Because Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know I have the plans for you, not to forsake you, but to help you. Right? So if he already knew you before he formed you in your mama womb, and he already knows the plans that he has for you, right? Why don't you know who you are? So it's time. It's time. It's time to get to know you. Because you are somebody. Okay? So for our mother moment of the week, because it's always time. It's always a great time when you have a mother moment. I want you to complete this sentence, right? I am. And I don't want you to do mom, student. I don't want whatever you do as your profession. I don't want you to say that, right? I want you to be like, I want only character traits. I am funny. I am teachable. I am loving. Okay? I want you to use those type of adjectives. And then for your journal prop, I want you to tell me, well, you could tell me, but I want you to write down, who am I when no one is asking me to perform? Who are you when no one is asking you to perform? Nobody is telling you, hey, I need help with this, or can you do this, this, and this before Friday? Oh, I need you to do this, this, and this. You have a week to do it. And nobody's asking you to do nothing, okay? Who are you? When you were sitting on your couch, eating chips, drinking wine, or scrolling on TikTok. Who are you? Okay? So, I hope today's episode reminds you that your value isn't found on your resume. It's not found in your titles. It's not found in your productivity. It's found in who you are, right? It's found in your characteristics as a person, as a human being, what you like to do. That's where it's found at. And I hope you understand that you are somebody outside of your titles. And I can't wait for you to see who you are. Okay? So until next time, protect your peace, choose yourselves first, and keep becoming. And bye, selfies.